we know that multiple officers used physical force on this man, and according to this, they used it immediately, quote unquote, immediately. And they don't say what type of force was used, but right after this force was used, this young man was declared deceased. So after they killed him in the use of force. They didn't kill him any other kind of way. He was in the wrong dorm. They came to get him, and next thing you know, force was used. He's dead. So, of course, he dies, and he's transported somewhere. They redacted where they sent the body to, but they go straight into the medical examiner's report. And the medical examiner and the state attorney, they get together, and the medical examiner, Dr. Timothy Gallagher of District 1, he lists the laboratory results included within the autopsy, and he determined that this was an accident. Now, he notes that something, they redacted it out, is sold as a novel psychoactive substance and has stimulant type effects, and that was detected in his urine. So it sounds like he tested positive for K2. So what I gather from this report, they're saying that this man smoked some K2, he started acting crazy, and since he was high when they used the force, they chalked it up to the K2.
Bullet starter, any.
Welcome to the Convict Podcast, folks. I'm your host, Moliere Dimanche, and I'm back like I left some. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. Hope you enjoyed Christmas with your family as much as I did. I hope you guys ate good, got plenty gifts, gave plenty gifts, and just enjoyed, life from the simplest things, like, being home with your family and just enjoying the fresh air together, to, the wonderful Christmas gifts that we all got. I got some good news and I got some bad news, folks. The good news is that we can finally live stream this show, and y'all can talk to me now. Y'all can call in, y'all can do all of that stuff, and I can do this full time now. The bad news is that I don't know how to use the live streaming software. I've been racking my brain with it, and every time I get frustrated, I just step outside and smoke a cigarette. But once I figure it out, we're gonna be able to integrate this into the website, and possibly on YouTube as well, maybe even Facebook. You guys know I took a break from social media, but I'm back. It's 2020. Why not? Let's do it. I'm gonna be back on Instagram, back on Facebook, and just looking forward to covering the stuff everybody's afraid to talk about. Let me give you guys some insight into some things. We're gonna get into another mysterious death segment today, but I figured I'll let you guys know what's been going on outside of YouTube, outside of social media, all the way around the board. So some of you guys who know me from Facebook, you guys know that I mentioned I was a prospect for a partnership with Sundance, right? There was this situation where, there was a possibility they would have got behind my film project, and, it would have streamlined everything. It was a funding opportunity, right? So I always get these curveballs thrown at me, and it's like, okay, as soon as I'm, doing my own thing, getting some momentum going with something, it's like, oh, hold on, you should consider this. So I take time to consider it, right? And I apply to get this funding from the Sundance Film Festival and the Marshall Project, if you guys have ever heard of that. the Marshall Project, and they were supposed to get behind this criminal justice related film and push it. It did not go through. And you guys know I'm always the guy that's gonna tell you, don't partner with nobody. Don't even think about it. You know what I mean? And like a fool, I continuously fall for those little ploys. When people say, hey, consider this, consider that. I'm always the dope that's gonna believe in the good in people and pursue it anyway, against my better judgment. So when they turned me down for this whole Sundance partnership thing, I get to thinking. They sent me an email about this, right? And in the email, I noticed word for word, it was the same word for word exact email that I got from another funding opportunity a year ago. What was that? It was a fellowship called the Right of Return Fellowship, and ironically, it was founded by 2 former inmates. Some of you guys probably heard of this dude, Jesse Crimes. Jesse Crimes. Now, were it not for this dude, I probably wouldn't be thinking the way that I'm thinking. But let me tell you what is really going on with all of this bullshit. So, a year ago, Jesse Crimes gets in contact with me. We talk on the phone for over an hour, and I'm just talking about all these good ideas that I have for criminal justice related filming and all of this stuff. And he's like, wow, that's a good idea. Oh man, you're pushing it. Man, that's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? I'm not catching on to the fact that this dude is really he's still in game. He's trying to take my ideas. Now, he's working on a film project of his own, and he's stealing my ideas. Plain and simple, and I would not have felt this way until the way that this whole thing unfolded. When he's the founder of this whole funding opportunity, right? I get denied for that as well. And me and this guy, the founder, we have a long conversation over the phone. We talk about this, we talk about that. It doesn't go through. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe me proposing a film idea to where my art comes to life, and I talk about the oppressions in the prison system and all of these mysterious deaths and all this. Maybe that's just not good enough. Maybe it's just not the right time for that. Maybe it's just not the right ideas. Can you believe, after me and this dude have this long conversation and we come to a general understanding that I'm going to be funded by whatever the hell he put together, I get denied and everything. After the denial, can you believe this dude, Jesse Crimes, he contacts me with 2 film producers in tow, right? 2 accomplished filmmakers. And can you believe they wanted me to use my CGI skills to animate his film? They literally asked me to work to bring his film to life. Okay, they wanted me to use my CGI skills, and I hadn't showed them all of this stuff. You know what I mean? I straight up revealed my hand. And they wanted me to do what they told me was not good enough for the funding for his film project. Take his art, animate it, bring it to life, use CGI to create prison environment, like the whole kit and caboodle, everything that I was gonna do with my film project. They denied me the money, said it's not good enough, whatever. But they wanted to pull me on as a developer for his film, doing the same thing they told me I wasn't good enough for. That really happened. And it pissed me off because I'm like, man, I told this dude a lot. You know what I mean? I told him a lot of, how I plan to put the film out, my ideas for conveying the message. He tells me that's a good idea. My foundation's not gonna fund your movie. However, I like your ideas. I want to take those same ideas and put it into my film. And then I get a cut and pasted response from the Sundance Festival this time around. So my point in talking about all of this bullshit is that when you have good ideas, either get them out there on your own or just let them die. You know what I mean? Because these people who have the ability to, push this stuff for real and, get everything going, they're gonna steal your shit. They're gonna, they put out these bogus applications and they just fish for ideas from new filmmakers and potential filmmakers and creative thinkers. And they just take your ideas and then they go and do it. So, I've been dealing with that kind of crap on and off, but now I know to keep my mouth shut. And truth be told, this is all just residue. I've been doing all of this with half my brain tied behind my back anyway. It's not the best I have to offer, but at the same time, I was a fool. And, every time I look back on these things, it's always a common denominator, the same damn common denominator. And hopefully I've wisened up to where, I don't fall for none of that again. But that's just a little of the stuff outside of YouTube that's just been picking at me a little bit. But Jesse Crimes, man, just wait for it. I'm sure you can Google information about his film project. He's pretty well known as a prison artist. Has no artistic talent, but he's known as he's a well-known prison artist. But when you see it, and you see that mysteriously the artist coming to life and all of that stuff, just know where he got it from. He stole all of that from the convict, man. And again, they're robbing me blind. It's like these uncreative people just don't have a damn thing to think with. They're so untalented, they're unimaginative, and they're just gonna steal ideas from folks, man. And it is what it is. And for my fellow geniuses out there, it's hard. But they've been doing this since the beginning of time. You know what I mean? So it goes all the way back to Thomas Edison. So that being said, let's get into today's segment. And before we do, a correctional officer came to my channel and he suggested that Justin Allen, remember this guy? He was the guy that beat Carlton Hart to where they had to wire his mouth shut, and they had to feed him on liquid diet and all that. Well, his comrade came to the YouTube channel and told me Justin Allen beat the case. And in celebratory excitement, in his celebratory excitement, he told me to eat poop and suck on a toe. So I'm like, wow, that's how these correctional officers celebrate. They eat poop and suck on toes. Now, I'd be dead wrong if I said, let me put two and two together. Maybe that's why they call correctional officers shit eaters, but, that's the sentiment he expressed. And I looked into it. The man didn't beat a damn thing. He's scheduled for court in the next couple of days. So for that correctional officer, it might sound like it's time to eat poop and suck on toes, but it ain't, man. He didn't beat nothing. He's scheduled for court in the next couple of days. And let's see if we're going to be celebrating that. And if he ends up going to prison behind all of that, I'd like to invite you on the show to see if you still want to eat poop and suck on toes. So, today's case is going to be about inmate Daniel Sions. Now, he died at Okaloosa, and again, it's back to these same old redacted reports that leave out all of the most critical information. So, according to this report, Inspector Darla Henderson conducted a review of digital video images captured by the fixed wing cameras of wing blank dormitory, which indicated inmate Sions departed his assigned cell D3-302, acting in an erratic manner. Now, at first glance, would you detect that anything was out of the ordinary with that first sentence of this report? The first sentence, is deceptive to where you can read one sentence and it's 100 different red flags, folks. 100 different red flags. Now, check this out. Let's start from the beginning. Inspector Darla Henderson conducted a review of digital video images. What does that tell you? Whatever footage that she was reviewing was not actual footage. It was still shots. She's reviewing stills from surveillance, which means she's not seeing nothing that this man is doing. She's watching stills of him from place to place. Now, right after that, that'll go over so many people's head because they'll see the word video and they'll just automatically assume she's watching live footage of something that's occurring. That ain't the case. She's watching still images. So off top, she's already that's indicative of the surveillance in the dormitory being just like the bottom of the barrel. They're not even recording a live feed. It's still images. So right after that, it says she's reviewing these images captured by the fixed wing cameras in wing blank and blank. So they blocked out the dormitory that he died in. Now, if he was in a T building, there's only 3 wings, right? But then they immediately noted right after these redacted dorms that this indicated that he departed his assigned cell. So this mysterious death is the first thing they're doing is saying he was in an unauthorized area. He was assigned to that cell, but he broke the rules by going to another wing. That's the first thing they point out is that he doesn't live here. He broke the rules. So automatically, they're painting the picture of a man who's a rule breaker. So he departed his assigned cell, and it says he was acting in an erratic manner. That's the odd thing to me, is because if you're looking at stills, what can you take away from still images that would show a person acting in any kind of way? You see what I'm saying? You're not watching a normal flow of movement. You're looking at stills, and you automatically conclude that this man was acting erratically. That's completely unreasonable. There's no way you can make a reasonable conclusion based on stills, but to conclude how a person was acting, to assign that word erratic when you're looking at a collection of pictures, that just doesn't make any kind of sense to me. And for that conclusion to be made out the gate is just, it's indicative that, we know what direction this inspector's going with this report. She's driving, she made a beeline straight to the cover-up. So staff enters the wing and made immediate contact with inmate Sions. Inmate Sions was not responsive to instructions/orders given by staff, and at approximately 2:17, physical force was utilized on inmate Sions. So again, this inspector, Darla Henderson, man, she's just like out the gate. She don't want to hear nothing but cover up. I mean, that's exactly where this is going, because she's saying that he was not compliant with orders. But everybody knows that the surveillance in the Department of Corrections dormitory don't even have audio. So there's no way she was able to look at these still images and say what was said to him. She doesn't know if an officer came in there and said, stop resisting or lay down on the. She doesn't know, because the only audio surveillance is in the confinement units. There's no audio inside of the dormitories. This man is in general population, and she's saying, based on what she's seen in these pictures, that he refused orders from staff. She's just automatically giving them the benefit of the doubt and refusing to give it to the victim. Remember, she's looking at pictures, but she can look at pictures and she can tell what was said. Inspector Darla Henderson. So they say that force was used on him. They don't say who was the officer in charge. They don't say She used the word officer, so it was plural. And we know that multiple officers used physical force on this man, and according to this, they used it immediately, quote unquote, immediately. And they don't say what type of force was used, but right after this force was used, this young man was declared deceased. So after they killed him in the use of force. They didn't kill him any other kind of way. He was in the wrong dorm. They came to get him, and next thing you know, force was used. He's dead. So, of course, he dies, and he's transported somewhere. They redacted where they sent the body to, but they go straight into the medical examiner's report. And the medical examiner and the state attorney, they get together, and the medical examiner, Dr. Timothy Gallagher of District 1, he lists the laboratory results included within the autopsy, and he determined that this was an accident. Now, he notes that something, they redacted it out, is sold as a novel psychoactive substance and has stimulant type effects, and that was detected in his urine. So it sounds like he tested positive for K2. So what I gather from this report, they're saying that this man smoked some K2, he started acting crazy, and since he was high when they used the force, they chalked it up to the K2. And the state attorney Knight, he says that given those specific results from the lab, since he tested positive for K2, we wasn't gonna press any charges. It's like, damn, I mean, there's just like, y'all just gonna say, forget the use of force? Like, there was just, it's almost to the point where they can chop an inmate's head off. As long as he was high, the state attorney's not filing charges on any of the officers. So it's like, okay, that's just completely unreasonable, unfair to the victim, unfair to the families. If just because the man was high, that's a green light to kill him now in the Department of Corrections. You're saying that there was a use of force. You're saying that they saw that he was in the wrong dormitory. According to the pictures, he was acting erratically, okay. But then there was a use of force. The report didn't say that there was a effort to simply restrain him and cuff him up. There was a use of force, meaning there was, there were punches and kicks, and 10 times out of 10, there was chemical agents. But since that toxicology report said that there was K2 in his system, be it from past usage or if he was high at the time, we're not even gonna look at whether or not the physical blows to his body killed him. We're not gonna look at whether he ingested chemical agents at the fault of these correction officers. We're not gonna look at we're not even gonna entertain the possibility that, like these correctional officers do to so many other inmates, they put the chemical agents in his mouth and blasted him. He tested positive for K2, end of story. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, the K2 epidemic. I wish those guys would leave it alone, but at the same time, there's still no justification for allowing these correctional officers to continuously get away with murder. But under Ron DeSantis, under Mark Inch, that's just what it is. So, I mean, I always think about, for the young people preparing for a career in the Department of Corrections, which people from our youth are they attracting? I mean, people, it's as clear as day now that you can go to the Department of Corrections, and if you have that killer instinct, if you just want to kill, just look for the guy that's high. You'll get away with it. So that's a open invitation to psychopaths. You can get away with a murder as long as the inmate's high. Try to be a little more cautious when the inmate isn't high. But if he's high, stomp his teeth out, break his neck, shove the chemical agents up his nose and blast him. You'll be just fine. So that's another one, folks. Daniel Sions. He's starting off 2020 with us, and it's the same old story. It's new year, same old cover-up, same old abuse, same old corruption. It's not gonna change until we vote right. So keep that in mind. Get ready to start going live, because I'm gonna figure out this live streaming software today. And as I'm going through this, I would so love to get a caller in to entertain a different hypothesis. Because maybe, I'm logical, I'm reasonable, I consider all things. But maybe there's somebody out there a little more wittier than me, a little bit more sharper than me, and can zero in on things I might miss. And maybe we can put our brains together and figure out a way to finally get this stuff into the court systems and expose it. So 2020, we are on.